Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Now we want to start right with weather. Meteorologist Corrales Ortiz is with me and we're going to see maybe some severe weather. I know I've been seeing some thunderstorm warnings coming in to my phone. Thunderstorm watches, yes. Right?
Yeah, correct. So we've had bouts of some severe thunderstorm warnings, even just a few strong storms as the afternoon progressed. The first half of the day was pretty quiet, but now we're starting to see a little bit more of that activity on our radar. Matter of fact, we've been under a severe thunderstorm watch that's still in effect until at least 11 o'clock later tonight for select counties, especially across the eastern half of the state. So east and along Interstate 30 there and nearing that Tennessee-Mississippi border. And we are seeing a few severe thunderstorm warnings as well. We have one for parts of Lonoke into parts of White and Prairie counties there as well. That one is in effect until at least 6:15, and then we have one to our south of the metro, parts of Grant, Hot Spring, and Saline counties. That's until 6:30 this evening as well. We are monitoring some of these storms that still could pose, even though we are not under any type of tornado watch or anything. Some of these could easily produce some brief spin-ups as the evening progresses. So that's something we're going to keep an eye out for sure as the evening progresses. But looking at your evening outlook, look that this is not going to be lasting all night. By around 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll be at the back end of a cold front that's going to be pushing on through and keeping those rain chances lower for us later tonight. So here's what's in store for your forecast. Sunshine returning for tomorrow and an active pattern for next week. Another look at your forecast is coming up.
Pine Bluff police need your help tonight finding the suspect of a carjacking. 30-year-old Dustin Denton, pictured right there on your screen, is wanted on multiple charges, which include false imprisonment and terroristic threatening. Authorities say he fled a domestic disturbance this morning, and that led to a car chase through Jefferson County that involved multiple agencies. Denton was last seen getting out of a car near 17th and Fox Streets in Pine Bluff. He was last seen wearing a white shirt and gray camouflage pants. Police say he's considered armed and dangerous, so anyone with information on his location is asked to contact Pine Bluff Police. Little Rock police are also asking for the public's help tonight in finding a man connected to an early morning homicide. Police responded to a shot spotter activation just before 5 a.m. today in the Oak Forest area. When police arrived, they found a body, but they haven't released any information on that victim. LRPD believes that the man that you'll see on your screen, Terry Becton, is connected to this crime. We'll also have that on our website at THV11. So if you see him or that vehicle, you're asked to contact Little Rock Police. That's the image right there of Terry Becton and the vehicle of interest right there on your screen. So if you see those, you're asked to contact authorities. They have also made an arrest today in Little Rock in connection to another homicide that happened late last night on Schiller Street. Police responded to an area near the Arkansas State Fairgrounds where they found one person dead. This afternoon, 52-year-old Yakonanin Machiavelli of Little Rock on charges of first-degree murder and 2 counts of firearm possession. We don't have any information at this time on the victim, but we will continue to bring you the latest details as this story develops. Police from across the state also work to fight drug abuse today. Every year, dozens of people drop off thousands of unwanted medication as a part of National Drug Take-Back Day. But law enforcement officials here in Arkansas say they've noticed a recent uptick in prescription drug misuse. Tonight, THV11's Frederick Price shows us the reason behind that.
Yeah, the COVID-19 pandemic has not been friendly to a lot of people. The Drug Enforcement Administration tells me they've actually seen an uptick in opioid use since the beginning of the pandemic. That's why events like this one are so important.
The broad shutdowns that we saw across the country, one of the terrible side effects of that was that people felt isolated.
And Arkansas Surgeon General and ER Dr. Greg Bledsoe says that isolation contributed to a rise in prescription medicine abuse.
We seem to have an uptick of overdoses, of suicide attempts.
A startling statistic Jared Harper with the Drug Enforcement Administration sees every day, but especially amid COVID.
From October of 2020 to October of 2021, over 105,000 people have lost their lives due to overdose.
He says some addiction begins when patients are prescribed meds during surgery recovery, and once they feel better, the medicine stays in a cabinet, something he says people should be cautious about.
Somebody could get their hands on it. And maybe it's a friend that comes and visits their child.
Since the event started in 2010, Arkansas Drug Director Kirk Lane says just like every year, more than 160 sites were set up Saturday to take back any unwanted and unused meds.
We have collected over 221 tons of prescription medication.
And they've seen the number of people getting rid of those unnecessary drugs continue to grow.
The numbers to me is how good we're putting out that messaging and how well that messaging is being read by the community.
And Conway, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
Thanks, Frederick. And it's not just today. You can drop off unused drugs any day. The state has nearly 300 permanent take-back boxes, and we'll post where you can find those on our website at thv11.com. As conflict continues overseas in Ukraine, Russian forces are meeting fierce resistance. Chris Livesay has the latest from Kyiv.
Relentless bombardment from without and relentless survival from within. After 2 months of hellish resistance, these border guards sing the Ukrainian national anthem, barricaded inside the Mariupol steel mill that refuses to topple. Propped up by the love of their wives, now refugees in Rome, like Yulia, who has no hope in Russian promises for a safe evacuation.
They're very bad people, they lied and no trust to Russia.
In Ukraine's northeast, civilians flee the town of Ruskolasova with whatever and whoever they can carry away from the advancing Russian army. They were small, 20-year-old boys. Soviet helmets and clothes were hanging on them, says Irina. They had nothing to eat, taking all they could to fill their pockets. Until Ukrainian forces came to the rescue, says Svetlana.
I saw them on my street and I actually, from the video, and I actually cried. But it was a grateful cry because I was really glad to see them.
Now, fleeing to the city of Kharkiv, their refuge is itself a cauldron of war. Ukraine's second largest city is just a few miles from the Russian border and Russian shelling. Cut off from water and electricity, many have no choice but to cook their meals outside their bombed-out homes. And as the front line encroaches, Kharkiv becomes ever more a safe haven in name only. Now, as for Mariupol, local media says those who were rescued from that steel mill were all injured women and children. Many more injured soldiers remain trapped inside, some suffering from gangrene and amputations without enough bandages to go around. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Kyiv.
Back here at home, Arkansans looking to support finding a cure for cancer gathered this morning at War Memorial Stadium to walk for the cause. Participants laced up their walking shoes at 8 a.m. to start going, which offered a 1K and 5K pass through War Memorial Park. The event aimed to raise community cancer awareness and increase access to screenings. They also were giving cancer prevention education. The family-friendly event included some familiar faces. You might recognize the wife of head Razorback basketball coach Danielle Sargent was on hand to show her support.
We are out here fundraising for cancer, and we are really just honoring survivors, honoring those who we've lost to cancer, and it's really a great event, and it's so wonderful to see the community come together for such a good cause.
Musselman shared that her mother and other family members also battled with cancer, and that inspired her to get more involved in efforts to help find a cure for the devastating disease. And it was a great time this afternoon at the Pennick Boys and Girls Club, the site for today's Italian Food and Wine Festival. Today at the festival, attendees were able to enjoy, of course, plenty of fine Italian cuisine, live music and games, and of course, like I mentioned, wine. And how do you get wine? Well, you have to stomp some of those grapes. There was even a grape stomping competition. All of this fun was for a good cause as well. All the proceeds for this afternoon's event went to benefit the 6 Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Arkansas. Now, still ahead, are dog breeds indicators of a dog's personality? Well, a new study has a surprising answer.
Tracking a few showers and storms on the radar this evening, some of which are strong to severe. We'll have the latest details on what to expect as the evening progresses and how the rest of our weekend is looking like coming up.